Welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. On this episode, we're going to talk to one of the co-authors of a book that is number 1 in censorship and politics on the Amazon bestseller list and number 4 overall of all book categories on the Amazon bestseller list. It's QAnon, An Invitation to the Great Awakening. We're going to be talking to one of the co-authors, DUSTIN'S. You guys are going to want to stick around to check that out. Welcome to Just Informed Talk, and today I have a very special guest, my good friend DUSTIN'S of DUSTIN'S 2 at YouTube, and today we're going to talk about this incredible book. He was actually one of the co-authors of this incredible book that just came out. It is called QAnon, An Invitation to the Great Awakening. It is now a bestseller on Amazon. Is that right?
I still have trouble believing it, but yes, I'm told that it is.
Right. So it's a bestseller. Last time I checked, it was a number 1 bestseller in the section of censorship and politics on Amazon. And I heard yesterday from a friend that it was number 2 on the overall Amazon bestseller list. So this is an incredible book, and it's really a privilege to have you here. And I just have a few questions. I guess the first thing, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about the book and what it means, what it meant to you, what the project was set out to be, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you can't see my shirt right now. It says "Where we go, one we go all." I've been really big on that since Q brought that kind of that meme into the culture. Like, that is a philosophy that I live by. Like, where we go, one we go all. It basically means that everything is connected, and I've always kind of believed that anyway. And I want to live in a world where we sort of, can be that way, where we treat people like everything's connected instead of like it's disposable. I feel like it would just be a better world,
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that this movement is overall about unity, and that's what I love about this book. Some of the people involved in this book are pretty awesome too, and I thought that's why this is such a great thing to kind of bring to the channel and to have you on to talk about it. You got people like Serial Brain 2, you know him. We all know him. Joe M, even Pamphlet on, Space Shot 76, Red Pill 78. So there's just a lot of interesting people, among others. There's many others that you guys will have to go check out if you guys want to see the book. But tell us about your chapter. So I'll talk about this, I guess. You reached out to me actually to contribute to the book, right?
I did, yeah.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able to contribute, but I'm still fortunate enough to be able to talk about it with you and to share it out here on this platform, which I think is awesome. But so each one of these people was asked to basically contribute a chapter of the book, correct?
Well, it came about because I actually had met a publisher for some another book that I want to do. It's more of a DIY health thing for people sort of take back their health holistically and such. And that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. But she came to me about that, and then we started talking to Q. And, I started networking. I like to network. I like to do business and such, and I like to win with patriots. So I put together some patriots, and they largely ran with the project without me. I mean, I did my chapter, and I helped make the connections. And, where we go, one we go all was in honor of this movement, because I've always been about that. I've always been about the Q culture and the Q for my own personal, vanity and ego. But I just wanted to make sure that we captured a piece of history. That was the biggest thing for me. And even I expected to make no sales. I just wanted to copy for myself. Like, I just really expected this thing to just be like, we have a piece of history. I never thought it would go big like this, but I knew we would make a bit of a splash. We had signed on some of the bigger names. I wish we had got you as well, but this is just the first chapter. I mean, the Q story is not over, but the story needed to be told. I mean, this first part, and now look at how they're reacting. We've look at what we did. McCabe's book was competing with our book, and we just beat it. And that we just beat their narrative among thinking, reading people. That's a big deal.
Yeah. To me, I mean, it was really an incredible project. I'm waiting to get my copy. I've just ordered it. I'm hopefully going to be able to read it in the next couple of days. But it just is an incredible project in what it's done to get on the bestsellers list, to be able to beat, what was it, Andrew McCabe's book?
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of things are part of changing the narrative and taking it away from the mainstream, which are, obviously out to silence us every day. So, with that in mind, it sounds like this book's going to be great. I'm excited to read it. I think everyone out there is probably going to be excited to give it a look. Let me ask you, tell us about your contribution to the book. What did you, what was your chapter about? And tell us about it.
Okay, so, beyond like just some networking and such, knowing the right people, right time and right place thing, just kind of wanting, I was a book lover. That was my contribution. But I put in a chapter kind of focused on the fake MAGA problem. And I used the personal experience I had with the biggest one of them that I know, which is Alex Jones. At least, my personal opinion. I know we disagree on this topic. But, I lay out the case, and then I also show the video where he attacks me and lies about me and misconstrues my words and all these other things. Says that I put out a kill hit on him even. So I'm not even making that up. He actually said that we tried to kill him. So this is the kind of thing that he put out where I showed his video in completion without anything taken out of context, and then I go through it in full as a rebuttal. And I did that months ago, but now that the book is here and we're bringing more attention to the issue of fake MAGA, I want to use that story to hit all of them a lot harder now that the book is a bestseller. Like, I'm bringing attention to it all over again. I'm making video clips to show what's going on with the Alex Jones and the Jack Posobics and the Lee Stranahans and the David Seamans and the Jerome Corsi's out there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and like you said, there is a little point of difference that we have on all of this, but let me just ask you, in your mind, can you define what fake MAGA is? And can you just kind of elaborate on, besides just naming names, kind of elaborate on what you believe is happening? Because to me, we've had the conversation about what could be, what could not be. I don't think either of us really know. I think we both have our ideas. I want to hear yours. So
I will give you two versions, because I get both. There's the legitimate criticism, and then there's the fake MAGA style criticism. And I've done videos where you go down the whole chain of what they're doing in real time as they're interacting and issuing their threats and things like that. And you can kind of see how some of them react. And I use that as a training thing, as a debate thing. But some of them will approach me with legitimate questions. They may even be angry. If they are legitimately concerned about something, we'll reason through it and we'll come to a conclusion, and they won't be angry any longer, even if we agree to disagree. However, there are others, and these guys will show up, 5 or 6 at a time. It seems like they come in waves. And when they show up, they will use the same kind of argument, the same kind of some sort of gotcha thing that maybe isn't quite logical, like they like to do. And once you explain it to them, they pop up 4 other threads with the same thing again. So you start to wonder, well, maybe they're not really here to talk. Maybe they're here to push something. So I've shown that kind of thing. Maybe not to give a specific name, but I've challenged people politely to QAnon debates to try to get the narrative out there. Other public figures in alt media. And instead of debating me, they doxed me or threatened to call the police on me and say I was harassing their dead child or something in my case. So these debate things are actually really scary for some folks. They do not want to debate QAnon.
Yeah, I mean, not only do they not want to debate QAnon, they don't want to debate anything in general. If you look at the left in general, I mean,
I'm talking here just about the right and the fake MAGA folks within the
right. And if they're fake MAGA, I would presume they're left, but maybe not. Maybe they're more neocon. I'm not sure.
They're limited hangouts of the deep state. They're not necessarily left or anything. They're more mercenary. I mean, these guys play at a deeper level. They don't necessarily follow the philosophy. They understand the philosophy. Of course, Alex Jones is a brilliant guy. He's way smarter than I am. But he's smart enough to know better than what he's doing. He's been calling him outright lies. I mean, look at the video I did. Maybe he's just making stuff up completely.
All right, so let's bring this back to the book because, I know that was a part of your chapter, or that was the main theme of your chapter, was basically showing what this movement had kind of morphed into on some of the more, I guess you would say, extreme sides. But if that is in fact the case, tell me about this whole thing. Let's just clear the air. Tell me about everything that happened with Alex Jones, because my take on watching the video, as you've pointed out to me, we've had this kind of little debate. I don't necessarily see that he was referring to you directly. There's a clip that we will show real quick.
I don't follow QAnon. At first, it's like, oh, cute. We're going to win. Oh, everybody's going to rush. Oh, it's cute and funny. Some 4chan thing. And then I start hearing, like, Jesus, they just put a QAnon post out saying, kill me, and it's got 50,000 views an hour. They do that for, like, rock bands that pay YouTube $100 million. And I go, Jesus Christ. And then you see who they've got, and it's like some bombed out, weird guy going.
And so that to me is kind of what is your basis of the whole theory. And then you're also talking about things like limited hangouts, which we've talked about here on this channel too before, how there are different ways that they try to manipulate movements. And if you look at any South American country or Central American country during the 80s, you could take a few different examples of how we literally went in and co-opted social movements in order to affect change at a broad level in the governments of those countries. So I understand that there is that aspect, but I also have talked to you about a theory that I've kind of looked at, which is that there's just certain layers. And without getting into that, because I don't want to get too far off topic, tell me about this thing between you and Alex Jones. Specifically, what would you say to him if you thought he was watching this video right now?
Well, he may well be. He's watched my previous videos, so I would say to him, what, and I've said this message before, if he listens to my work, I mean, I loved him like a brother, like a role model for 15, 16 years of my life. I mean, I grew up on Alex Jones. I mean, every day, all day, every show, basically. And I defended him for years in debates. I cut my teeth on debate defending Alex Jones. Actually, now I love debate. And it got to the point even on into the modern era where I would defend him from the gay frogs thing, because atrazine is a problem, even though he made it kind of a funny meme in that way and kind of whatever. There are issues, okay, but in Alex Jones's case, he's a deceiver. He when he started lying about what Q said, when he started lying about talking to people on the phone, when he starts lying about intimate knowledge, insider knowledge, and Q said right off the bat, this is the only place we're going to talk to people on the boards. We knew Alex Jones had gone off the deep end, so if I had to say anything to him, it'd be come back to the light and apologize. I don't really hold grudges. I just want to win for good. It's not about that. But if you lie about me, if you attack me, I will use it for good, and I will use it against you, as long as you're lying. So that's kind of my thing. I take all of that energy right back, and I just kind of come to it against them. But I mean, in the video, it clearly demonstrates he misconstrued. If you take into credit that it is my video that he's referring to, and I'll get to that in a second, he's misconstruing my words. He's outright taking things out of context. He's putting words into my mouth, saying that I said he'd kill him, things like this, saying that I believed in Mueller and all this other stuff. So all of that. And as for it being my video, yes, he failed to give me the respect to mention my name. However, that time period, no one was really asking, is QAnon going to arrest Alex Jones one day for this same sort of reason? Because nobody plays the game, gets a pass, and that was my point of the video. So he was reacting to my video the day after of the video, talking about somebody who, like me, had followed him for 15, 16 years, which I say all the time, no one else says. And then he kept going through things, even making fun of me being kind of monotonous. I mean, I have a very monotone voice. So yeah, he called me monotonous. He called me Satan's ankle. I don't even know what that one means. So he called me a lot of interesting things.
I've never heard of that name before. That's interesting. Satan's Eagle. Here's the thing. Alex Jones, for me, was somebody, and I'm not going to get too much into my personal opinion on him because, I just think that there's a lot of information he's been giving to the public for quite some time that woke up a lot of people. Now, the moment he lost me kind of to a degree was not only with the stuff that happened with Q, but I think it was shortly thereafter, he was on his show saying, F the president and F his family and all this like awful stuff. Excuse me, I don't, before he goes off on me too, I don't know if he said F the family, but I know he said F the president.
F his family too.
Right. I thought I saw that. And, it was appalling. It was something to me that, and they'd say, oh, well, what are you, snowflake? You got thin skin. Well, no, it's more of, first of all, a disrespect for the office of the president of the United States. That would be the first thing that I kind of look at in that regard. Not saying that it's sacrosanct, but I mean, it's really something to be respected. And also, I would think about it in the sense of, when he did that, it turned off a whole section of people. And, if you look at what happened, he's been calling everyone out, it seems. And now I don't hear him talk about Q at all. Or just when he mentions it in passing and dismisses it immediately.
It's the ultimate fake MAGA move, is when they say everything that you want them to say 98% of the time so that you love them. And then comes out with the F Trumps, then comes out with the let's give up, then it comes out with the I'm feeling blue today, in like Cernovich's case. It just all day, just blue negative energy stuff. Right.
Well, in all fairness, these guys should have the right to have the right to have their feelings and their opinions, and that's fine. I'm not trying to discount that. I think more overly though, it's when you're claiming to be a leader, pushing a movement, and seeking this kind of outcome, the outcomes that they seem to want, which seem to co-align with what we want as in a movement as a whole, with the Q movement, right? Seem to co-align almost perfectly.
You would think.
Right. But when they don't co-align and then there's this fracture and divide, I don't look at it as everything's a limited hangout and everyone's in this area of trying but at the same time, it's like I don't discount that could be happening.
So I got the reputation as the fake MAGA guy because I did start calling these people out early on. I felt he was telling us to do it really early on, clean the house, that kind of thing. It wasn't just about the house; it was also about the fake MAGA. And he warned us about the fake MAGA and infiltrators within the movement, and that we had to deal with that issue. We had already kind of beaten fake news, and I was already ready to switch gears from fake MAGA. And then, now it's everywhere. Fake MAGA is just everywhere. So people are talking about it, they're throwing it around. But I've always been really careful about it, and I don't make the accusation without throwing up my argument. I keep a page on everything with all the arguments I have, and I'm willing to be proven wrong, and I'm willing to talk to those people. They won't debate me. They won't talk to me. They block me. They dox me. In some cases, like what Sovic did when I try to politely debate them about Q. These are the reasons and other reasons that I've caught them doing, like creating, fake chat log evidence, that kind of thing. Propaganda, basically. These are the reasons that I say we have to be suspicious of Q. These are Trojan horses. And even if you don't believe in Q, buy the book just to see how these people work and, how we made Alex Jones cry.
Well, and yeah, that's rather interesting. But, to your point, when you look at everyone, I think it's good that you don't broadly, paint that brush of fake MAGA. And I also think getting in front of people and having the conversation makes a big difference. We were just at the conference there for American Priority in what was it, October, I think, or November, or was it October? Yeah. Yeah. So we were just there, and getting in front of some of these people is what I think you have to do in order to understand, where they're coming from and what their motivation might actually be. So to me, it's kind of like, I hope this video serves to act as, a bridge for everyone to kind of say, okay, well, if we're all really truly pushing this movement of, make America great again and keep America great, and what Q is pushing of truth and equality of law and exposing corruption and malfeasance and criminality, then that is really what we all need to come together on, especially coming into the 2020 election, because I don't think that we can be too much divided, because I think that the left is really coming after us. And that brings us right into another topic, which I hope you are able to talk about with me for a second, because it has a lot to do with everything that you're doing, you know, with the book and your channel, and what we're doing here at Just Informed Talk with the channel, and what's going on with Q and the whole movement is censorship in general, right? Yeah. Have you experienced any censorship after making this book? Have they tried to shut it down? Have they tried to keep it from getting up? Because it's like it's already on the bestseller list. So, you know, have you experienced anything?
There was that time when we were kind of neck and neck with McCabe's book, and really what that was, I mean, for everybody watching, who's going to write about this, who's going to make, you know, commentary about this, you know, to go down in the history books, everyone's watching which narratives are going to. And McCabe was just, you know, kind of slowly going out, and we were shooting past. And then I think he was around 55 or something. Reviews were dropped off. They got some of the negative ones too, and I think that they did technically play within their own rules, but it did work out in a way that it keeps back for a while. But we still made it up. So last I checked, he was around 20 and we were at 2. So that means officially, like, whether or not you believe in Q or not, just like Alex Jones or like a David Icke or someone, they have a platform, they have a voice, they have a seat at the table, whether you trust them or not, if they have such an Q has that influence, and you know, it's there to see. People support this movement more than they support the MSN narrative. That's a beautiful thing.
I agree. I think that is really one of the most important parts of the Q movement is establishing that. So with that being said, what about you yourself as a person? What kind of things do you go up against with censorship on your channel? Because I know that we kind of suffer the same things a lot of the time. And it's because we cover controversial topics. We're obviously individuals who have different opinions on a lot of things, but we have very much similar opinions on a lot of things. So there's a lot of crossover there. So for me, the question really is, you know, what are you experiencing over in DUSTIN'S world?
You know, censorship has been with me since day 11. I think I've told you before, but I was going from 1,200 subs a day to 50. And then around 43,000 subs. Around that time, we had the Florida shooting and school shooting, and then they banned me for that. So I had to start all over it. And that's when I started networking, actually. I started making friends, reaching out to people, and building bridges, because I knew, like, if this happens again, I got no defense except friends. And now they can't stop me. They'll never stop me. I've got too many friends like yourself. And you know, I do the same for others. If someone is being censored, I give them a voice. And I shine a light on that. That's my dog making noises. But, you know, basically, I do push back when I get a chance, especially against fake MAGA. I do believe that they're a legitimate threat to movement. The disinformation they're sowing in there is a legitimate concern. I don't think that there's a place for unity with venomous, you know, vipers in this case. But that said, for me personally, the censorship, I don't look at the numbers anymore. I don't look at things anymore. I don't trust the numbers. You know, if I get anything from YouTube in terms of money, great. Everything is demonetized automatically, and therefore gets lower rankings, and I get deboosted and shadow banned and everything.
And that's kind of the point I was hoping to get to, is it's across the board, and that's why I'm you know, it's my privilege to be able to have you on the channel, because I think that what you're saying about networking and camaraderie is really important with the Q movement, and that's why, you know, it's always been my goal to bring people together. And you know me, I'm an evangelist. I put God first. That's the whole reason I'm doing all this. But then it's to tell the truth as I know it. But then I see not only my truth being suppressed, but your truth and others' truths. And some people aren't even allowed to speak. And as much as you may disagree with Alex Jones, and I may contest certain things that have happened, neither of us think he should have been deplatformed the way he was.
No, I make the case that it was intentional to distract from the rising Q movement. His audience tripled after that. I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it went way up.
Intentional or not, the effect is the same. We have a whole landslide of people. I think I was just doing research on this the other day, because I'm working on this it's going to take a lot longer than I originally thought it was, but it's just a little documentary where we're talking about what censorship has taken form of, or how censorship has taken form on YouTube. And I was looking at the numbers, and I think in like the last 3 months, I think from it was like from July to August or something, they had literally taken. I'm gonna have to pull up this number, but it was some ridiculous amount of channels were removed, right? And not to mention, I think it was millions of videos and millions of channels. And I have the numbers right here.
I'll use carrier pigeons, man. We got to get the word out. Who cares?
Well, I just wanted to talk about this because I really, and that's the truth is that, we have to kind of stay together, and we'll get the word out no matter what. It won't matter what happens, but I'm sorry, I can't pull these numbers up right now because I have too many things open. But the numbers speak for themselves when you look at that. It was an article that kind of went over these things, and once I find it, I'll let you know. But let's just keep going on this kind of idea of the censorship that we're both experiencing. Now, I have the same problem on my channel a lot of the time. It's just the content it seems like there's some sort of deboosting going on behind the scenes. And here's the numbers let me just be very clear on this. YouTube, in the span of 3 months, removed 7.85 million videos and 1.67 million channels. Now, of those, the amount of channels was about 1% were removed for promotion of violence, violent extremism, harassment, or hateful or abusive content. So
that's the 1% of truthers, probably.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that you have to look at the harassment or hateful. They've said hateful content. So, what is hateful content? That's a part of what I'm going to be diving into, because, even that 1% of 1 million is 16,000 channels, right? But 16,000 channels that were just gone, and that's really what I think is something we have to look at together. And, you're experiencing it, I'm experiencing it. And I know other channels that I like and watch and respect are experiencing it. For instance, I may not agree with everything he has to say. SGT Report over there, they do good work, and he's getting hit hard. And they even tried to take his channel down, and then it was put back up. So it's not just that. It's we're all kind of in the same. One of my other favorite channels, China Uncensored, covers China, right? They have it regularly. But because we have things like Patreon and we have good support from our fan base and people who want us to keep doing our work, I think that we're able to overcome it, and we will overcome it. But what are your thoughts on how this is going to evolve? Do you think that it's going to get worse, as I believe it will, or do you think it's going to there's going to be some sort of action taken?
Things escalate. Things continue to escalate. I feel like we're near the breaking point or the tipping point now. I don't think the energy can get that much higher without something going on. I mean, we've already seen some kind of behind-the-scenes moves from Sessions before he left, and some of the state AGs, about half, to move towards some of the big companies and go after them for antitrust and monopoly. Begin the process of going after the big guys for censorship. I think there's stuff going on in the background. I'm willing to take it for as long as they have to go at me. Just like you, we have our audiences. We are independent. We are truly given an independent voice in this world, which is a rare, precious thing, and we use it for good. So we're going to keep doing it, even if we have to go telephone to telephone.
Yeah, I've basically said that my life is devoted to spreading the good word of our Lord and Savior, and that's my personal mission. And along the way, I'm exposing the truth as I know it. And the fact that our voices are being pushed down, even though we may not share the same ideas, that to me is what is most disturbing about the new evolution in our society to try to make speech, grounds for removal and for discounting and basically disappearing you off of out of the open or the free speech platforms that exist.
It's hate speech to those who hate speech. I mean, they have to stop what they can't debate. I mean, that's, of course, if it's a stupid idea and it's nonsensical or it's easy to disprove or debunk or debate, then debate it or ignore it. But if you start banning things, it's clear that you cannot handle them, and it's dangerous to you. So they're afraid of us. They're, even different niches or genres, whatever. They're afraid of people to tell them.
It's modern day book burning. And it's really disturbing, and it's antithetical to what our country's founding principles are. And that to me is what's most disturbing. But I think that there will be a resolution overall eventually that'll hopefully it will be some sort of comprehensive legislation that'll address this issue. And that's what I really think is the best way, because, we do advocate through the Q movement for civil change. We're not advocating for violence. I know it's so crazy when they try to paint us with this brush. And I mean, I can really only speak for myself because I haven't seen every piece of content that exists in the internet. But I can say that I've never once advocated for violence, but I've been painted with the broad brush of being a part of a group of people who do that. Yeah. And that to me is what is so disturbing, because they're going to use that broad brush to remove us all, because it's easier to just silence us. And like they're doing now, and I hate to kind of rant on this, but they're gradually turning us down. And I think it's all in build up to the 2020 election. See, I've seen the numbers. I watch the analytics. I see my numbers get slowly tapered down and down and down while my subscriber base is going up, while the likes on my videos are going up. All the views keep going down and down and down. And you can just tell they're trying to slowly push us out of existence into the realm of just, non-existence. And that's really the problem, I think. And you give us a few words on that.
I mean, internet ghettos. I mean, they are trying to stop us, but it's the last desperate act of fear. It's the Streisand effect. It's the first they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they attack you, then they oops. So we're in that phase now. They're attacking us, and they're about to. And I, for one, think the Q thing is about to get really serious. I mean, the post from the last couple of days, Q is basically just guaranteeing it, unless this is another, sort of misinformation required, which just happens sometimes. But I mean, he's making some pretty big statements lately.
Oh yeah, I've been covering those here on the channel, and I know you've probably been covering them too. So, we both know that those things are going to come to light. And that which is in the dark will come to light. And that's why it's important that we stick together and that we support one another. And I think that's why I feel like I've been blessed to be able to know so many great people. And I count yourself among those, because, even though, like, I want to make it clear, it's okay to disagree with somebody and still be their friend and still support them and still say, I want you to succeed. And that's what I think our movement really needs to start moving more towards, and less towards a divisive culture where we're just constantly fighting with one another. So I know you're one of those people who never holds a punch. You tell me what you see, if we can find a bridge to gap that.
I am actually very zen and very spiritual. I actually follow something and philosophical. I consider myself a armchair philosopher, but I'm a voluntarist. I follow something called the non-aggression principle. I believe that you should never aggress against anyone. I do, however, differ from a pacifist in that if someone aggresses against me, I push back, just like our president. So when I see people out there deceiving and lying and sowing division through deception within our movement, helping the MSM, when they activate and go against Q the same day the MSM does, 8 hours a day suddenly for weeks at a time, when I see those patterns, I push back. And I will continue to always push back against deception. But, it's a headache to start challenging these people's debates. I get more flack from going after people like Alex Jones than ever going after people in the MSM. It is a headache. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to deal with people within our own movement for betraying us. I just don't see anyone else challenging.
Yeah, fair enough. And I totally appreciate that. And for me, I'm always working just personally as an evangelical Christian to bring people together, and I'm trying to bridge these gaps. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, but there's a few more things I think we should go over just really quick. If you have anything going on and you want to shout it out, here, I'll give you a minute to kind of plug whatever you want. All right.
Man, that sounds great. I'd love to do that. I'm always in networking. So one, let's talk about that quick quote from Hannity. My sources are telling me all will be well and that justice is finally coming. So that's interesting. Q then kind of repeated that, as you said, you saw it already, but we hear his sources are very credible. So that's really cool. That's what I'm kind of, hyped up about. Me personally, I'm promoting health products that are helping change people's lives. I'd love to give your audience a discount, hook you up with a link so that they can shop through your link, and that would be really cool for people, even some free trials and stuff. Products like Carbon 60, which amazing. I'm actually networking toward a couple of other things as well. Like I told you about the Nemos News Network I'm doing before the show. Basically, I want to expand and I want to reach more audiences, and I want to go after other countries and such as well. I want to set up sort of an alternative to an InfoWars or a OAN or a Fox News, something that will tell the truth, that is pro-Q openly. I want to take you seriously, to view the media. So I'm bringing on help and talent from skills that I need and don't have, strengths I need, things that I can help others with. There's a lot of networking in the background, a lot of funding issues, that kind of thing. But what an exciting time to be alive. I mean, this fight, I can't sleep.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't tell you. I'm in the same boat, and that's really cool. We've talked a lot about some of the ideas you have and some of the things you have going. I know you're working really hard, and really quick before we really sign off. Actually, there's one more issue I would want to give you a platform to kind of address, and let me know if you want to. That would be fine. But there's been some pushback against this book, and they say, oh, speaking of like all the stuff you were just talking about, it's like, oh, well, you're just a patriot, and there's no, like, with the PAY,
Yeah.
and that it's really just about the money and all this stuff. Right. And people like yourself, people like yourself and me have decided to do this professionally and then to make it into bigger than what it even was to begin with. I mean, we work every day to promote the ideas and to do the research and to ask the questions, and we take the flack. And to me, I'll just put it this way. Do you have anything that you want to say to address that? Because I think that if we're all going to look at President Trump as somebody to look up to, the man's a billionaire. A lot of us admire him for his business savvy and his ability to have become so successful. And we ourselves are only looking to be successful in our own career endeavors. So what would you say to that? The people who
there
speak
are
negatively?
Many good arguments, and I really tore up that argument, the long video I did earlier. But if you want all of it, go there for the full breakdown of it. But really, there's a few things here to address. It seems that the majority of these guys are kind of angry to begin with and seem to be not open to conversation. Because I've done it openly on Twitter, I've done it openly video for influencers who actually have influence, who want to discuss why they disagree with me about this book or think I'm a patriot with a lie. An open platform, let's talk about it. They don't want to do that. They want to tear me down behind my back. So either way, that's fine. I don't mind. I did address it politely. But the one thing that they're trying to claim is that we're profiting from the movement's work. These are our opinions. These are our stories. This is my story of how I made Alex Jones cry. This is no one else's work. And frankly, I'm a journalist. That's what I do for a living. I've broken news in the past. I've been censored in the past. I've done a lot of work in the past. I've been here just like you, for quite a while, and I've been here since the beginning of Q, and I've helped build the Q movement in my own part. Thanks to my wonderful audience, I have a voice and a platform and that's attracting a lot of very interesting people, which is kind of opening up a lot of interesting doors for doing better. There's no shame in selling the book that people want. I wanted a piece of history. Q's been talking about history books for quite a while. He keeps saying we're the media now. I took him seriously. I took him seriously when he said go after the fake MAGA. I took him seriously when he said we are the media now. We are the news now.
And to that end, the only way we're going to be able to compete with these multi-billion-dollar corporations who run the mainstream media outlets, who are able to basically have a stranglehold on the national and global narrative. The only way we're going to beat them is if we get bigger, and the only way we can get bigger is if we continue to grow by being successful.
You need
So
energy, funds, time. That's all money is. And if we have more
right.
of them, we're
So
not people that want to go spend it on like football teams. We're the kind of people, like in my case, I don't know what your next goal is on your show to expand and be more effective. But mine, I'm trying to hire full-time child trafficking reporter so I can go after that issue. That's where I want to put money. I'm about solving problems and helping people, and that's why money keeps coming toward me, because I'm using it for good, helping people.
Right. And the cycle works to promote that. And I'm doing the same thing on my end. We're working to
We'll never be a socialist country. We've got to add that in there. Just like Trump said, this is a country, and there is great honor in providing a value to others, doing something for others that they find as a win-win, no exploitation, voluntary interaction. You've done good for the world and you've earned a profit doing it. There's nothing more honorable and noble. There's nothing exploitative about that. I hope I can earn a lot of profits so that I can do more in the world. These people that tell you that profit is dirty are usually people that don't make much money because they're resentful and they're negative and don't want to try in life. Really, that's it. I've been there. I've been negative, and I wasn't doing too well either. It's a mindset thing for me. I read Think and Grow Rich, and I changed my life. I became retired, at least financially free, very early on, and then I lost it all to embezzlement, and I didn't care about money that much after that. So, it's not about the dirty green paper. It's about what can we do for the world.
I agree. And I think that that's what the Q movement is. And we're basically using their systems against them, especially the ones that are trying to suppress our voices. So I think that that's how we work, and that's how we function, is by just continuing to grow in the face of their constant adversities that they put in our way. But that's really interesting. What a great interview. Now, before we go, I know you said that you had a friend who was not doing too great right now. Do you want to say anything? Just I'll definitely be saying some prayers later. I just wanted to say, if you wanted to say a word or two.
Well, I would like to ask everybody to pray for Ashley, my producer. She's having a bad time right now. She's in the hospital in pain and mostly unconscious from pain. That's rough. I know what that's like personally. So she's just an old injury that's acting up. It's something that she's kind of dealt with for a long time. It's bad. And she's been helping me out so much lately. Everything for free out of the kindness of her heart to do with setting up of the Nemos News Network. I really hope to get her full time soon. But just whatever thoughts that you can send away.
Yeah, we definitely are prayer warriors here on this channel, and we will put the word out. So that's a great place to end it, I think. And I want to say first of all, thank you so much for coming here and participating in this interview. I want to say it was a pleasure to have this conversation about so many different things. We will definitely look at getting a link to everything in the description, and we'll get the book. We'll get the link to the book. Because if you guys haven't checked it out, you should go check out this new book. It's QAnon, an invitation to the Great Awakening. You guys will absolutely love it. I think you should go check that out. And it's about the synergy of the movement. It's about making this movement continue to grow. And I think that's really why what you guys did in that project is great. And I can't wait to read it for myself. A lot of different contributors who I really want to hear what they have to say, including yourself. And
yeah, it's good.
With that being said, I have to say we're going to go ahead and sign off of this interview. But is there any place that they can go find you if they like your work?
For now, you can still find me on YouTube, but I don't think it'll be much longer. Dustin Nemos too there. DustinNemos.com, ApexHealth.club, the upcoming Nemos News Network. Greg, it's always good to see you, brother. Hopefully we'll get together again at some point when we're both not so swamped.
Absolutely. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to be able to have people who I really respect on the channel. So let's go ahead and we're going to leave it right there. And for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. So if you guys enjoyed what you just saw there, I encourage you all to go down in the description, check out all the links of everything that we talked about here. There's going to be links to all that stuff. And if you want to go check out Dustin, there'll be a link to his channel. And I just want to give a special thank you to Dustin for coming here and joining us on the show. I hope you guys like that. I thought that was a balanced interview. And with that being said, I really want to take 1 minute to talk about a few ways you can help out the channel. First of all, the best way you can help out the channel is to go down in the description and find the link for Patreon. It's patreon.com/justinformedtalk. It's a crowdfunding website where you put in a monthly donation and you set it and forget it, and you know that you're helping to continue to keep this channel up and running. If you guys like this format, please go down and hit the like button. That really also helps too, if you guys like this interview and this kind of format for the channel. And there'll be a couple other links on ways you can help out the channel. You can go find my Twitter and the links in the description, and you can go find me over on the official website, justinformednews.com. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.